I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Monday, February the 11th. We've got an important week here. Got to make some trails in here in the fat cattle deal. Last week was kind of a flop. We'd been wanting 125 for weeks and weeks and weeks. Finally, we're able to attain it, but the guys saw the opportunity to get a little more. They were priced at 127. Packers daring them to let them call in at 126. Nobody would. Ended up just having a little trickle of trade at 125 in Nebraska and a little bit in Kansas at 125, but didn't move a lot of cattle on a live basis, probably more than we found out on Friday by the time your Monday sales get in, but it was really a flop. We were looking at really getting a big movement if we'd have traded at 127, and even if the guys would have thought 126 was enough. But need to make a lot of ground up here over the next several weeks here, because we've got a kind of a perfect storm where the lighter weights and a lot of these weather cattle has been pulling the mud, been in those miserably bitter cold temperatures, and their weights have been pulled back, their performance has been pulled back. Those cattle are going to come to fruit right when your packers are wanting to ramp up kills, when they've got a little bit of that early spring demand, as they've got a lot of orders coming in to fill the shelves for that first grilling season. But let's look at your board for last week. February live cattle futures ended the week at 127.37. That was up $1.92 for the week, and it was very strong on February despite 100 contracts tendered for delivery. April, 127.92 to end the week, up 165. March feeder cattle ended the week at 144.10, up $1.58. April was stronger at 145.90. Even your out front stronger, with August breaking 150 and almost up to 151 by the end of the week. Should see that continue to climb. Your fats, like I said earlier, a few traded at 125 live, but did not really get an established market. Your dress market, although, did get established at $2 a pound dressed. Pretty good market, $1 to mostly $2 higher. Box beef cutout values, your average trade for last week on choice cuts, $216.86, up 21 cents compared to the average the previous week. Selects average for the week at $212.32, down 32 cents. Slaughter was healthy, 642,000, compares to 21,000 more than the previous week and 25,000 more than the same week a year ago. So we know that we have a heavier slaughter than a year ago. We're really making tracks, and 25,000 is significantly heavier. It's going to be kind of tough to do that this week and probably next, with Cargill, Fort Morgan going to be shut down to do some improvements there, and so that's going to whittle on our slaughter. We're not sure if some of the other locations are going to pick up the slack or not, but we'll see. But let's talk about the slaughter for last year, as we finally got our actual data in for 2018. Late because the government shut down, but here you go. We knew it was heavier. 2018 slaughter was 2.6% heavier than the previous year, and 8.3% heavier than the 3-year average, which is significant. We're killing the factories, guys. Your heifers, nobody kept many heifers back last year, because your heifer slaughter was up 6.4% for the year, up 16.2% compared to the 3-year average, and up 11.3% for the 5-year average. Look at your beef cow slaughter, up 8.6% compared to the year before, up 20% compared to the 3-year average. Now we were rebuilding there a couple 3 years ago. Guys weren't selling off cows, and they were keeping back a lot of heifers. But last year it got dry in places, especially in Missouri, Arkansas, parts of the southeast where they have a lot of cows, really per square acre there. And you talk about killing off your cows, up 20% compared to the 3-year average. That is humongous, and a lot of those cows were bred, guys. And but then nobody had any grass or any water, and just nobody in there knocking the packers out, so they just took those bred cows, the same price as as the open cows. But beef cow slaughter was 14.1% higher than the 5-year average, very significant. And you know, some of your analysts and some of your data coming from USDA might say that we're still rebuilding. You can look at that data right there and tell that we're not rebuilding anymore. We're going off again, and so we're going to have tighter supplies. But look at your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on Cattle Market Central ended the week at 141.86. That was up 37 cents compared to the end of the previous week. So pretty much steady market all week. And that makes your real-time index really tight with your CME cash feeder cattle index that follows up behind it. And compare that 141.86 to the most recent CME index, 141.69. Cash feeders in your auctions last week, mostly steady. There were places here or there, up and down on particular weights, but really as a whole, your feeder weights were mostly steady. Calves continue to be higher because guys are really pushing harder and harder every week as we get closer to grass turnout, and there's going to be a lot of graze out week because it's been so wet in Oklahoma. Of course, it's dry in the Texas Panhandle, always is. But your calves steady to $2 higher, in spots sharply higher. And some of those spots are in the southeast where guys are really starting to turn in those orders for some southeastern calves to turn out on those big grazing areas like the Flint Hills and the Osage region. But look at some sales late last week. Burwell, Nebraska, 2,700 head. You can watch every week on dvauction.com and bid. Look at this market report on Cattle Market Central from Burwell. Kind of see what went on. You see your most popular weights on steers. It was 7 weights. 521 head of 7-weight steers averaged 740 at 151.41 on the average. Pretty smoky. Heifers, 6 weights were most popular. 440 head of 6-weight heifers averaged 648 at 147.79. A couple of individual quotes. Shasta Livestock Auction Yard, Cottonwood, California. 52 head of 525-pound steers bring 186 way out west. St. Ann, South Dakota, 84 head of steers weighed 708 at 155.75. And that's your feeder flash for Monday.